Hey guys, it's your girl Kdiddavis coming back out to you one more time. So you saw from the title, that amount of kids was in shelter for the school year 2023 and 2024. Can you believe it? Can you believe that kids were in a shelter? So I'm not going to come here bashing shelters either, because some shelters are amazing and better than some people's homes. Some shelters are garbage and they have stuff what's in between. So I'm not here to bash shelters, but I think we need to find a way to have solutions for these families and people in shelter in general. But to have a child under, technically New York City's rule is 21, in shelter, a lot of the numbers they counted, they left out some, I feel like honestly, some demographics. I will give you links down below so you can actually read the thing, for some of the data for yourself, and also read an article that I was a part of. I didn't write the article, they just quoted me on stuff that I said. So, like that. There's many different reasons people go in shelter, family shelter, I would say. The highest is, one of the highest, or I think is the highest actually, is DV, which is domestic violence. There's also eviction. People could be evicted for different reasons. If a person wants to sell land of their property, whatever, they can evict you out their apartment, like that. You could be late on rent. You can be, if you want to get into shelter, you can just get them evict you. And that sounds dumb because I made them evict me, I didn't owe rent. So I understand how that can happen, I'm really understandable with that because I'm a person who lived experience of homelessness in New York City. So I know how it can, different things, different orders, different ways of life can happen to be homeless. But I think we need to find a way to make sure that our children are not growing up in shelter. People take a long time to get out of shelter, and that can be traumatizing to a family, even more for a child who doesn't even know how to regulate their emotions. Shoot, some adults can't regulate their emotions. So imagine a child, imagine a pitney. So we need to find ways and solutions as people are lawmakers who really are, their job is policy. We need to find a way to make this better for our children. Our children don't deserve to be living in these predicaments. Especially in New York City, rent is very high. Even just having one child, rent is like, obviously you're gonna be living with your child, so rent is high, food is high, they grow like weeds, things happen, it is what it is, right? Somebody could die, or it could be most people in New York City like paycheck away from being homeless at this point. So if you get sick, especially if you're a single mom, because there's a lot of single moms in shelter. If you're a single mom, right, you can end up that if you miss like a week, 2 weeks, a month, you might be on the way to eviction just because it's hard to catch up and everything comes out on you. Like when there's a problem, it's usually not one problem. It's usually a domino effect of many problems that are ready to happen, So it's kind of weird too. I'm looking at my phone and I'm usually not using my back camera, so hopefully everything is good. When I look back at this, I'm like, I don't want to record again. The last one I was recording, I thought I was recording good. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, that was fine. But so I want it to be a full video, not like a half a video, so I just deleted it. But yes, please let's help the people in shelter. I think how having cash transfer programs, which is basically giving people money in hand so they could be able to get their rent. I know it sounds crazy to you, but it'll only be people who are certain incomes who get this. They do a lot of cash transfer programs out there. Bridge Project, Grown Strong, just to name two that I know of. Grown Strong I helped to do, and that's in the shelter. Bridge Project worked outside the shelter, but now they're working inside the shelter. So, and they have it in different states. And Grown Strong is only in New York City right now, and that's what's going on, right? So that's happening. That's one thing. Try to cut before we even probably get the transfer problem, like giving people cash in their hand. Make sure that voucher discrimination, which is income discrimination, is stopped. A lot of people are in shelters right now who can get out, who's eligible to get out, but they can't find an apartment because landlords don't like to have vouchers. And honestly, that might be a little bit of the city's fault. It's two things. Landlords don't have enough knowledge about vouchers. They mostly know about Section 8. Maybe we should change that. Two, the city don't pay none of their rent on time. They don't pay for rent on time. They don't pay for childcare on time. So because of this, people who do have vouchers, they can't find a place because landlords do not want to rent to them. Also, a lot of I feel like the vouchers are honestly not market rate. They keep on bringing it up almost every, I'm gonna say year or every couple of years, but it's just not the way the rate is for the way we have to fight to get the rate up By the time we fight for it, landlords are like, oh, really? And they put the rent even higher. People can't afford it. So it's a lot of things we're working on right now. We're working on cash assistance programs to get those things higher and things like that. Right now, they give you not that much money. You can't live on that. I don't know how people do it. Maybe they have like 14 kids, and still that's not gonna be enough. So but yeah. So please be aware of how much kids are in shelter right now in New York City. We need to find ways to stop that, ways to help families, ways to give them resources, and even know about resources. New York City has a lot of resources compared to other cities. New York City has buku amount of resources. The problem is a lot of times people don't know how to get them. That's the one, but also it's a long waiting time. Example, home base, excellent program. They're understaffed, understaffed, overwork, and underpaid. So that makes the time for everything even longer. And it's not the people's fault. Like, some of them have, people can have attitudes. People are people. Nobody's perfect. A lot of fields, even doctors can have attitudes. Not saying you're a doctor, you have an attitude. I check my food. But I'm just saying, they're really underworked, especially with the problems that we have in New York City of homelessness. It's astronomical. It's crazy. So we need to find a way to get the system together and take the weight off the system. The system is breaking down, it's falling apart, and we need to get it together. So yes, we need to get our children out of shelter. What do you think we can do to get our children out of shelter? What ideas can you give? Maybe if you give me ideas, I can give back to people I know or whatever like that to kind of help the system. Or I can say at a forum, and hopefully somebody who hears me, or say on the podcast, somebody can hear me there, say what solutions we have for people who are homeless in New York City. And any other policy thing that you think. Talk about food insecurity. All these things intersect. The colas, all these things intersect. That's how people get paid, stuff like that. So yes, check your girl out. Thank you, and hopefully share. Bye.